Yes, sir.
We're rolling. We're hot.
So hot.
Hi, I'm Kevin. Nice to meet you. Do we know each other?
It does feel like that.
It's been a while.
It was wild.
It has been a while. Let's see. Let's see if we can make this work.
I had an unexpected calling to Mississippi and got stranded there for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about that in a bit. Rich said he missed the Meavers. We're going to fake it.
Something tells me that thing is popped off.
It's going to be we're going to see what it is. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shiftless. It is the podcast that's only about bicycles and cycling and velo stuff. And hey, let's turn the sliders down on the music. And we are back at Casa Verde. Oh my gracious. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I'm glad we didn't do this 2 days ago, though. It was bitter cold.
It was bitter cold 2 days ago. It is insulated flannel, comfortable weather at the moment. I'm glad I left my flannel hoodie in the truck so we wouldn't be twinsies today.
We actually rode last night, and it wasn't that bad.
Unless it's wet,
Yeah.
I'm always good for riding down to sub-freezing. I'm okay with it myself.
Yeah, some of my favorite rides have happened in the snow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I consider snow wet myself, but
Hey, the Northerners will get behind me on this. There's a difference between wet snow and dry snow.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
The majority of the time down here we have wet snow though. The majority of the time. And boy howdy, on our trip we found some wet snow out there.
Yeah.
So you got waylaid to Mississippi for a couple of weeks. A week longer than planned?
Yes. Over a week longer than planned. When it was health concerns for my mom, and she ended up in the ER, in the hospital, and I was her advocate. So I was stranded until my family came for Thanksgiving, which was the plan anyways. But either way, 2 weeks, no bike, which was strange for me.
That was the Bradford off season.
Yeah, that was my downtime. But rode last night, felt good. It was weird being back on a bike. It had been 3 weeks since I'd ridden a mountain bike.
Okay.
Long time considering what I've done this year. So it was interesting. But needless to say, my 5,000 mile goal this year is probably not going to happen.
Where you at?
Sure. I think I'm like 300 miles shy.
Well, you can do that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I could be lying.
Well, okay. So today's what, the 4th?
Yeah.
Today's December 4th.
Oh, if you saw my events calendar, you understand.
Then
more.
I was about to go there. This is fam season, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So what you got going on the fam side for the rest of the month?
Hold up, I'm trying to log into my Strava. I don't know how to. I've got back to back events.
Is it weekends or is it your holiday charcuterie board parties or what?
So this is my slowest week besides Christmas, and I just have a dinner this weekend.
Okay.
And then next week I have charcuterie Wednesday, charcuterie Thursday, private dinner Friday, public dinner Saturday, something like that. And then the next week I have charcuterie and private dinner. It's out of control.
Okay.
But can't say no.
Sounds like it's going to be a good Christmas in the Green household. Everybody's going to be getting lots from Santa Claus.
We'll see.
I'm glad you're busy. That's a good thing.
Same.
That's a good thing these days. Not everyone's as busy as you are.
It's a blessing and a curse.
I can relate to that completely. So
I'm almost there. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I don't want to dig too much into it because I wasn't aware of your mom's health concerns. Hopefully everything's okay there.
Yeah, she's doing much better.
Okay. I'm sure everybody out in Shiftless land wants to give their best.
I'm at 4,400 miles for the year.
Oh, you need 600.
Yeah,
you
not going to happen.
Oh, I don't know. We can make that happen. Just a couple 200 milers and pick up the slack elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm at 4399.5.
Okay. So let me get my calculator out because my math head doesn't work anymore. And my phone head doesn't work because I can't find my calculator. So 600 divided by 27. It's 22 miles a day.
Yeah.
Like I said, you throw a couple centuries in the mix. Oh, you can do it. Temperature's perfect for a century.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Throw a couple
just-
centuries in the mix and you'll get there.
It's just finding the time.
I understand that. That's why I'm saying just a couple centuries.
Yeah.
Just a couple centuries. And then you do a 20 miler here, you do a 40 miler there, and the next thing you know, you're within sniffing range of the barn and you won't be able to stop yourself at that point.
Yeah. I really want to make it, but
What's Christmas week to New Year's look like for you? What you got going there?
it's a good question. But it's also a good question what the weather's going to be like.
Weather is always a factor. I've heard that somewhere.
100%. I'm not going anywhere for Christmas. And Kwanzaa's not till the 28th, it's 26th this year. Looks like my Christmas week all the way up to New Year's is pretty wide open. I might could do some stuff.
Maybe I'll drag you to where it's not cold if we have bad weather here and make you ride your bike.
That'd be fun.
I've still got some fine tuning to do in Mississippi and Louisiana.
Yeah.
So
And this is all part of the Tuba route, right?
yeah, oh yeah,
And tell me what Tuba stands for, because I forgot.
Transcontinental Unpaved Bicycle Adventure Trail.
It's a word salad.
That's why it's Tuba.
Yeah, I get it. Acronyms make more sense. So right now I saw it terminates in New Mexico?
Arizona.
Arizona.
We get to the New Mexico Arizona line
Okay.
right now.
But and the plan is to continue all the way to California, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And terminate where in California?
San Diego-ish currently. Originally,
It's a good place to finish.
originally the way we had it routed, I picked up my Cross Colorado trail and I had all these great grand plans. I wanted to hit all the cool stuff between Trinidad, Colorado and Santa Monica Pier. That was my original concept for it.
Yeah.
There's a big problem with that though, in that if you go through Colorado, you're basically have 6 or more months out of the year that you can't use that part of the route
Yeah.
because it went over 10,000 feet multiple times and 12,000 feet a couple of times,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So basically from first snow until late June, early July,
Yeah.
impassable through Colorado.
Weather's more of a factor for
Weather is more of a factor there. We had a lot of tribal land stuff we had to sort out. Pre-COVID, I had stuff figured out with one of the tribes, but there were others that I would. And
How does that stuff work out? Is it fairly easy to navigate?
no,
No. Okay.
and everyone's different.
Yeah.
And and that was the thing. What was true pre-COVID most likely isn't true now, so I would have to start all over again from scratch.
Yeah.
And ultimately, there were just and here
Oh, sorry.
it's all right. Here was the thing that broke my back on it, quite frankly. My main feature, I wanted to get to the north rim of the Grand Canyon, and then they had that big fire this summer, and it burnt down all the amenities and resources in the hotel and everything there. So it's like, all right, it's just not meant to be. So we shifted it more southerly to make it technically a 12-month-a-year route,
Yeah.
depending on where you start and where you hit certain spots.
Makes more sense in the long run anyway.
Yeah, it does. New Mexico and Arizona are still going to be impacted by snow, but it's a much narrower window.
Yeah.
And if you time it, you miss the snow. So
Yeah.
you can depart the route basically year round. And you try to avoid the snowiest parts in the dead of winter and the hottest parts in the heat of summer.
And what's the estimated total mileage going to end up being?
We're at almost dead on 3,200 now at the Arizona border.
Wow.
I think we're going to end up with at least 4,000, but I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm going to run into when I start scouting Arizona next month.
Yeah. Yeah, and Arizona's going to be, because Arizona's pretty sparsely populated. So
The areas that we're going, generally, yes.
yeah, so you're going to have stretches that are going to be extensive without water, I would imagine.
So
Or just restocking is going to be.
where we're at currently, I think once we hit the Texas-New Mexico border, prior to that, rarely more than 50 miles without realistic resupply. Going into New Mexico, that put us up to about 100 miles between
Wow.
resupply. Still a good bit of stock tanks,
Yeah.
active stock tanks, and along the way in a pinch.
Yeah.
Some of them were on forest land, but most were on private ranch land. So I'm not encouraging people to hit a stock tank. But if you're bone dry and dying,
Yeah.
there's
Water filter, highly recommended.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Speaking of which, it's tent season now. Hammock season is over.
Hammock season is officially done, huh?
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night. I was like, man, I need to get my tent out, sleep in it now when it's not miserable outside. I think I may pull next week. I might pull a single overnighter, just like maybe ride up to the grasslands and pitch a tent and turn around and ride back.
There's 100+ miles right there.
Yeah.
You got this, man.
I want to.
What, just for shits and giggles, what does your January look like?
My January is wide open right now. As a matter of fact, Paula and I are supposed to meet at some point this week and figure out what January, February looks like, because I already have people contacting me for events and stuff. I do have one trip planned in January, the middle of January. It's a group of guys that I go with every year. We go camp on the Brazos River and duck hunt, trout fish, and it's cast and blast. It used to be eat what you catch or kill. It's turned into a food fest where it's all subsidized basically, but it's still a great time. So I look forward to it every year. I had to miss it last year. I can't even remember this year, I guess, technically.
January 24th is Texas Chainring Massacre. So I'm sure you'll have a dinner that night.
Probably.
And then you got when you say mid-month, are you talking like the 15th or?
Yeah, 16th through the 18th.
Right. Hypothetically, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Maybe try to be flexible that first week of January, since you're going to be so burnt out from everything prior to that anyway.
Yeah, we're going to do our annual New Year's Day friends and family gathering.
Sure.
And then January 3rd is that first Saturday. We definitely won't have a dinner on January 3rd. It'll be too close for anybody to even think about it.
Maybe we'll go explore Arizona and some of California together.
That'd be fun.
Pack a tent. Pack a tent.
So
what's going on in the bike world, man? I have not been keeping up at all.
I really haven't either. I'm still trying to figure out, and if anybody, I know out of our 12 listeners, there's got to be a guru out there that can help me with this.
I think we're down to 10.
I'm still trying to figure out how to run the new SRAM transmission 90 with mechanical brakes, with drop bar shifters, 12 speed on my Fargo. And I can't seem to navigate that just as of yet.
Okay. And set my head straight. That's the new mechanical one?
Yeah, it's mechanical over hydraulic though. So the shifters is mechanical, but the brakes are the hang up, because they're all the shifters that are made that currently support that derailleur are mechanical or hydraulic brakes.
Okay.
So until the problem is the previous models, which are really difficult to find, 12 speed, 1x, the ratio is different. So until the company that's out of Europe, I can't remember where they are exactly, the company is literally called Ratio. They make an insert that goes into the shifter to change up the ratio, the pull ratio. Until they make something, I think that's probably the best bet, but that's what I'm looking for right now. I'm trying to figure that out. But
let's roll it back a little bit. Why do you think you want the mechanical eagle on the Fargo?
just to take around.
Okay.
Yeah. Just choice.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's a
Yeah.
perfectly valid answer. I was just
I want something more bulletproof than what I have. I've experienced a couple of woes recently, which doesn't make a lot of sense because my stuff worked flawlessly for so long. But I want something more current and less hobbled together. And I realize I just said I'm waiting on a third-party company to make a part.
You know what the easy solution is, right?
Electronic, no?
Hydraulic brakes.
But so that's where I know that being a dickbag about it, but I love my Paul brakes. I love the serviceability of them.
Sure, I get that.
I never have any issues out of them. Changing pads in the wild or adjusting tension or anything. It's so easy to be in the middle of nowhere and dick with your brakes versus hydraulics. If you have an issue, which
How many hydraulic brake
that's
issues?
what I was just about to say, I may be creating a problem that doesn't even exist, but
I've seen one.
yeah,
I've in all of our events over almost 16 years now, and all of our rides, I've seen one hydraulic brake,
I've had hydraulic brake issues, but it was because I wrecked,
and I think that's
kinked the hose and lost fluid, but I've also had brake issues with my mechanicals too. I don't know if you remember the story, but when we did Wood Ape Ramble, a good friend of mine's outdated, underbuilt crack failed
back
and drug my bike and broke my shifter, my front front brake. So I didn't have my front brake that whole trip. But that was, I think, a mechanical shifter or hydraulic shifter would have probably failed even worse too. I don't know. I love Paul brakes. I love Paul components, and I like to show love to those guys. And they're on every one of my bikes except for my big boy bike. And so I just want to stay with them. I know it's curmudgeon-y, but
yeah, it's just, but
it harkens to the past.
you're mixing eras here.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately that's what you're up against.
But I think that's cool too, because like on my Chumba, I have Paul brakes and I have wireless electronic shifting, which I think is really freaking cool. But you can get away with that because the shifter is a standalone unit on a flat bar versus drop bar shifters. And I don't know, I could do electronic over mechanical.
You could do electronic over mechanical and use the push button shifter on that.
Yeah. Or I could do blips if I wanted to.
That's a push button.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Never mind. You're right. I just didn't pick up on that. Hey, buddy.
How'd you get out?
Who knows? He's like Houdini. Hey, baby.
Hello there.
Hey, baby. He went to Mississippi with us. Such a good boy in the vehicle.
He's grown up a bunch in the past few weeks.
Yeah. He's turned into such a good dog. Such a good dog. He's a Cub Scout. Did you know that?
A Weebelo, right?
Cub Scout.
Oh, Cub Scout. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, we're trying to talk about bikes. You don't know shit about bikes. Get out of here. I don't know. I haven't really been following bicycle news. Tell you, I was in Mississippi and I just tuned out of everything. It was actually as taxing as it was pretty good decompression time. I ate a lot of food, a lot of po' boys.
Okay.
Really good po' boys.
All right.
I went to a place. Next time, I've got to put one place on your map. Next time in your travels, did you go through Vicksburg at all?
I go through Vicksburg every time we go east because we cross the river there.
So you need to eat at a place there that's been there.
We'll be there next week.
This coming year, 2026, will be 70 years that this place has been a functioning restaurant.
Okay.
And it looks like nothing. It acts like nothing, but they execute everything.
Those are the best local joints.
Extremely well.
Okay.
Great beers on tap. It's one of those places I picked up on it just because of my history in the industry, but it was evidently started by someone that knew nothing about restaurants. And they have yet to have someone of the restaurant industry come in and consult and be like, hey, you need to do it this way and change things up. It still ran very old school, especially from the bartending aspect, but didn't spectate how stuff comes out of the kitchen and everything. Shrimp po' boy, phenomenal.
Okay.
Grilled steaks, they still grill. Like when you walk in, you can go right or left. So if you go left, there's a guy in a glassed in enclosure grilling steaks right there. And all their steaks are perfect, which you wouldn't expect in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Okay.
And it's reasonably priced.
What's the name of it?
Beechwoods.
Beechwoods. And where's it at approximately? Is it downtown? Is it along?
It's right off of the interstate, just south of, I can't remember what that is that goes to there. It's not hard to find.
Okay.
It's right off of 61.
That's easy enough to find.
Yeah, it's worth checking out, especially if you're going right through there.
Maybe we'll overnight there. That's on our agenda. Is we're taking the van that way, and we're just gonna bebop
Yeah.
this trip as opposed to driving straight through for 15 hours. And
Yeah.
we just want to find a couple places to stop along the way and enjoy it. And that sounds like Vicksburg. That's a nice day trip there. And I bet
Yeah.
there's somewhere we can park the van and
100%.
overnight.
And if you've been down to the riverfront along I guess it's the Yazoo that's right there.
It's Mississippi.
There's the Mississippi, but on their riverfront section is along the Yazoo,
Okay.
the downtown.
Oh,
area.
I have never been
Yeah,
downtown.
where all the brick roads and stuff are on, I think it's Washington Street. So that's where I got stuck, is in Vicksburg. My mom was in the hospital there, so every day I just went gallivanting for a couple of hours, went liquor store hopping and looking for places to eat and just checking out the local flavor. There's another really good sandwich shop there called Brick Street Market. Phenomenal sandwiches. Once again, did not have any other. I guess I did technically have a po' boy, but I had a spicy Italian. It was so good I had it 2 days in a row.
Okay.
It was tremendous. Old school sandwich shop feel. Relatively new place from what I understand. Handwritten menu, that kind of stuff. Good stuff. The vibe in Vicksburg's really pretty cool.
And there's some good roads around there. I was really hoping that by the time I put Tuba together, they would have that pedestrian bridge open full time.
Yeah.
I think they just open it up one day a year for bicycles, sort of things. Man, if we could cross the Mississippi there, I would love to go through Vicksburg. That would have been my ideal.
And the Natchez Trace goes right by there. I drove some of the Natchez Trace and I was like, I can't believe people ride that. There's virtually no shoulder on the whole thing.
Bikes have the right of way on it, don't they? And it's supposed to be like 20 miles an hour or something?
It's 50 miles an hour or 55 the whole way. I can't remember. But it's curvy, windy. Yeah, it is.
And that's the bike? Oh, I thought the Natchez Trace was protected.
Bikes may have the right of way, but
no, I thought, okay.
It's a 2-lane highway. I think it separates at some points where it's two lanes.
So
and
it's
separated.
a dedicated bike path off to the side or anything like that?
No, especially not the portion I drove. And it's been decade plus since I've driven the other portion, but it goes all the way from, I think, Nashville and terminates in Natchez.
Yeah, I haven't been on it yet. I've heard from people that have, but it's been a while. Maybe things have changed.
So it's funny because you talk about like your Butterfield Junction, or what is it, Butterfield Overland route, the old stagecoach route. So my understanding of the way the Natchez Trace evolved is that's part of the return trail to get back north after boating all your goods down to the port in Natchez. And so, especially in Natchez and just north of it, you can still see portions of
the trace.
Original trace.
Yeah.
And it's, at one point I thought this would be cool to try to bike pack it, but there's portions where you can't even access it, see it. It's so overgrown.
Sure.
But it's so cool to get out of your vehicle and get on the original Natchez Trace and just see this path. But a lot of it's just cut into the earth, if you will, which just V'd out almost. And you can see the path, but it's so overgrown and there's trees in it and stuff. But just the nostalgia of it, just realizing how many hundreds of people either bought horses and rode them from here all the way up or whatever.
No, that's one of the things I like about the point-to-point and cross-country riding is just all the little historical Easter eggs you come across constantly and nonstop.
So cool. And it's just, the Natchez Trace is just so pretty, but that's the drawback is when we drove it because I drove, when my mom moved from Nashville back to Natchez, we drove the Natchez Trace. And it's cool because there's nothing commercial. There's no gas stations, there's no fast food, there's nothing on it because it's all...
So how much vehicle traffic was there actually on those roads, even if they were 55-mile-an-hour roads?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot. Which is, I guess, the saving grace for it, but there's very little resupply. You have to get off the trace to get resupply, but most of it's within a mile or two.
Yeah.
And there's great rest area, if you will. There's a lot of historical monument spots where they have public restrooms and campgrounds. I think there's campgrounds. I'm sure there is, but it's pretty cool because you can drive the whole thing and just feel like you're in the middle of nowhere.
Maybe we'll check that out.
Yeah.
Overnight in Vicksburg or stop in Vicksburg and find somewhere along the trace
Mhm.
to overnight or something like that.
It's pretty cool. But bikes, I will tell you this too. I have to tell you about the most interesting bicycle related thing I saw while I was traveling back from Mississippi to here. It was on the back of a camper. I saw a full suspension fat e-bike that was a Trek, and I didn't even know they made this animal.
Okay.
And it had legit aero bars on it, and I was like, "What a beast of a bike this is!"
Full suspension, fat bike, e-bike with aero
with
bars.
aero bars. It was such a conundrum.
I'm not getting that. I'm not getting
I,
If you're listening to this, please reach out and touch us. shiftlesslive@gmail.com.
it was
I'm
quite.
not knocking it. Just explain it to me. I'm
was-
not putting those pieces together.
It was quite the spectacle. If it wouldn't have been,
So this is a fact. It's off the shelf Trek.
I mean,
At least the fat bike, full suspension e-bike aspect of it.
yeah, definitely the aero bars were not spec'd.
But a fat bike, full suspension e-bike.
Yeah.
What is that aimed at? And you saw it where? In Louisiana?
It must have been Louisiana.
Is it a hunting bike? Not with aero bars.
I think, and it may not have been a fat bike, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
As I'm looking at their site right now, had a gigantic down tube, and I'm pretty sure it was a Trek.
Interesting. I'm going to have to dig into that. Okay. Actually, I do recall some bicycle news while we were so far apart from each other.
Since makes the heart grow fonder.
It does. Did you hear who did and did not make a Lifetime Grand Prix next year?
I did see all the kerfuffle over that.
I have theories.
Ooh, let's get into this.
Well, I want to hear your thoughts on what you know about it so far.
I heard very little. I just, mostly with our boy Dylan, I saw that. And as much as I hate it for him, it makes sense by the numbers. But I would also argue that you're the one that pointed out to me, it's been well over a year ago, that Lifetime Grand Prix wants athletes that self-promote and attract attention to their brand. And I would argue that besides, he is the flagship.
He points more people to stuff about the Grand Prix
Yeah.
than anyone except maybe Payson, but I think even more than Payson.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. But I get that there has to be a cut, and you have to, if you're going to draw a line in the sand, you got to stay pretty diligent with it.
So if you go with that logic,
And I don't know that they did.
no, I and even Dylan admitted, yeah, on performance-wise, he didn't make it this time.
Yeah.
Okay. However, neither did Michaela. And if you took all of her numbers,
Uh-huh.
there's definitely people that she outperformed that got in it and she didn't. So here's Kevin's lifetime conspiracy theory for 2026.
I love it.
We'll see how it shakes out.
Get the popcorn out.
I think we are now in the year of team gravel racing going forward. And I don't know, I'm assuming it's bike brands that are the main drivers of it. I don't know that for a fact.
Okay.
My guess is what you're going to see is everybody that is in the Grand Prix is going to most likely be on the most popular named bikes as opposed to Allied and Fell, like Dylan and Michaela were. That's my guess.
Speaking of Allied, I do have to tell you, I made a funny on the internet and it went underappreciated, so I have to brag about it.
Okay.
So the very same that we witnessed in person when we interviewed Dylan, apparently last year, I think he auctioned it off, and the person that ended up with it was selling it. And they were like, if you have any questions or anything like that. And it was a for sale classified on Facebook, but with comments on. And I said, why would I want a 17th place bike? I couldn't type it fast enough.
I understand. Very few people get our humor.
Yeah.
That's why we're down to 9 listeners by now.
So I hadn't thought about that because you've got, you started saying that it was going to be team oriented, but it was already like that to some extent.
I think it's going to be extremely like that going forward.
And how does that benefit Lifetime overall? Just because those the big box bike brands have more money to funnel into advertising to supplement Lifetime?
That's that's the simple answer, but there's probably more to it than that. It may be down to, hey guys, the bike industry is falling apart.
Yeah.
So we got to rally together and do this amongst the big guys, and who cares about the little ones because they're all going to go out of business. I'm not saying that's the meeting they had, but it could be as basic as that. It'll be interesting. Lauren's in, so let's see what bike she ends up on.
Yeah, and she was decidedly not in Lifetime last year. Is that correct?
2 years ago. So 2 years ago, she got in, but basically opted to go the UCI Nationals and Worlds route as opposed to concentrating on Lifetime.
But last year she was not a Lifetime employee.
Last year she was not in, but she was wild card eligible.
Yeah.
And if she hadn't DQ'd, she probably would have gotten into the wild card. I'm not sure that I never really broke it down to that level. So she was.
But this year they asked her to be a Lifetime
employee. She applied.
Yeah.
Basically, they are. She applied and was accepted. So she's part of the Grand Prix this year. So it was her choice.
Okay.
And they chose to accept her. I doubt we'll ever hear all the ins and outs of how all those pieces come together. That's what I'm saying. From a broad perspective, I'm guessing we're going to see everybody that made the Grand Prix. They're not going to be on Loft. They're not going to be on Allied. They're not going to be on Felt. They're just going to be specialized in Trek and maybe Giant. Probably Giant.
And definitely Santa Cruz, duh.
Why do you say that?
Keegan Swinson?
No, he's specialized now.
Oh, is he really?
He's dropped Santa Cruz.
I missed that memo.
That's what I heard anyway.
Huh. Yeah, I did not know that.
No, no Santa Cruz. I don't even know who. Yeah, I don't follow the hardware that much.
Isn't Beers his teammate too? Matt Beers? Or are they just tight homies?
I thought
they were teammates.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't follow all of that.
Yeah, I don't take it. Actually, I barely followed it at all this year.
Yeah.
Outside of the major headlines and stuff like that.
That is interesting though that he ditched Santa Cruz and went with Specialized. Obviously the pot was sweeter.
Who knows what all the pieces are? Who knows what? Maybe Santa Cruz can't afford to play no more. Yeah.
And Emily Newsom is not going to be a Lifetime Grand Prix athlete this year.
I guess anybody that's technically not can still chase the wild card.
Sure. And from my understanding, and like I said, I didn't read a lot about this, but that's Dylan's goal too, is to chase the wild card and get in that way.
And I don't even know who made wild card this past year.
Yeah, nor do
I was doing the math at one point, seeing if Lauren could get in, and then I stopped. I even stopped following that. I don't even know what happened with Big Sugar at all, quite frankly, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
I got cut short because
that's right. It got cut short, and I never heard. I guess, it matters who won, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah. There was a lot of people that opted not to even show up because they knew that was gonna transpire before it ever happened.
Yeah, I think that was another byproduct of this year's Grand Prix. Maybe I think they added attendance requirements now going into 26 or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll hear about it. Blast us, tell us how stupid we are. shiftlesslive@gmail.com. We don't care.
I'm okay with it. Huh. Keegan Swinson finished 4th overall Lifetime Grand Prix. Cameron Jones finished 1st. Simon Pallad, I'm probably saying that wrong, finished 2nd. And then in 3rd, definitely can't say this, Torbjorn Andre Roed finished 3rd.
Okay.
And then it was Keegan and Matt Beers. And then Alexi.
Yeah, and remember that being another point of contention about who made the Grand Prix. Supposedly there was going to be a big deal. Lifetime made a big deal about only proven gravel or unpaved winners will be eligible to be invited or accepted or whatever else. And I guess there were a couple of big time Euros, I think male and female, that don't have any unpaved experience that made it into the Grand Prix. That's my understanding. I don't know.
I'm sure, though, at some point, Lifetime has to make a concerted effort to get fresh meat in there to shift who's paying attention. Because if you got the same, 22, 25 athletes competing on the men's and the women's each year, if it's the same characters over and over.
I don't dispute that. What's questionable is why are we limiting it to 22 or 25 or whatever? It should, in my mind, it should be
like 40.
It should be 40 or 50.
Yeah.
And the whole point should be to encourage the second 30 to work on their game and
cultivate higher level athletes over the course of years. Yeah.
Work on the younger ones and hey, let them do it for 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
As the Keegans and Paysons and whoever start to age out or start to go on a little bit of a decline or whatever else, and you have that overlap, it's a league at that point. It should be a league really what it should be, as opposed to let's drag this person in from another continent that might draw some new eyeballs with it. I think the reality is if we're semi-casually following the Grand Prix over years, and it's, there's that kid from 5 years ago. I remember when he really lit up Sea Otter and fell apart the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Good to see him making progress.
Yeah. Speaking of, the highlight of the ride last night for me was seeing all the Nike kids out there. As cold as it was probably 30 kids out there doing a lap. So cool. At night, in the cold. So cool. But I think that Lifetime, if it's not a concerted effort, it should be for them to cultivate younger athletes instead of just throwing the hottest, fastest personalities in the mix and seeing who shakes out. There should be a spot for, and if it was, why wouldn't they want 40 people to throw their hat in the ring?
So they're already up against it in that, they're giving out prize money, a decent prize purse for the top of the heap. It's everyone else that's struggling or trying to get there and trying to build up. Lifetime's basic rationale for the first few years of the season is, hey, we're giving you this nationwide/worldwide exposure that gives you all the opportunity to be a privateer and develop your own sponsor base. And that was their logic, which, I don't dispute it. But what they're all up against now is, sponsor bases have all dried up. So if I'm not one of the top 10, I'm not getting any sponsorship dollars. So I'm having to find my own way to all these races, pay my own accommodations and all that. And if I'm not in that top 10 and I'm not making the big money, it's just costing me money to do this year after year. But I am building up the participation based on the awareness for the Grand Prix. We're talking from 10 to 25 in that group, 10 to 30 if you include the wild cards. Those people are struggling.
Yeah. But I also think if you deepened the field and extended it to 40 instead of 25, you could have a wild card kid win a race on a whim, and then all of a sudden
the new money that Lifetime threw into the pot for next year, which again only applies to maybe the top 10. That's money they could have distributed to the field to offset expenses for everyone else to actually show up for the races and stuff like that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then if they get a few sponsorship dollars here and there to pad it so they can actually have 2 tacos instead of 1, sort of thing, more power to them. But hey, that's what.
But then they wouldn't be able to put out all that incredible production that they do, like overnight now, or live. No, they did live events this last year.
I think they did live.
Yeah, which that's cost them a pretty penny. And
they're making plenty. Yeah. Rich and I did the math while we were driving around in New Mexico. It's like Lifetime's making bank on it.
Yeah. But that's got to be, I wonder if they're seeing good returns on that investment portion. Are they getting more eyes on their events relative to the amount of money that they're spending? Is it worth the amount of money that it's costing them production-wise?
So ultimately what their game is, in my opinion anyway, is they're in just eliminate competition mode. They
Yeah.
want to be seen as the only game in town.
Yeah.
And
They're pulling that off pretty well.
they've done an amazing job of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we're also more than likely at the point where probably Lifetime is highly encouraging racers to not go to other events, sort of thing, kind of like UCI used to do.
Yeah.
And I guess UCI is going to start doing that again, where if you're a UCI sanctioned racer next year and you show up at an unsanctioned event, you'll be penalized in UCI and stuff like that.
That's super cunty. But then that seems crazy.
They were like that for years. I used to have people show up for our events under pseudonyms.
Yeah.
That was pretty regular. And we'll start seeing that. And hey, who knows? Maybe that brings back the spirit of grapple at that point.
Speaking of
Bob Trumpet won. So
speaking of coordinating dates, I think the last time we talked, you were going to a convention of race event coordinators.
A summit. A summit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did that go? Was it a shit show as anticipated? Or was it a little bit more organized? Or was it just a bunch of finger pointing?
It went about as I expected, but maybe a touch better.
Yeah.
I dropped the ball where I said I was just going to keep my mouth shut and not get involved.
We both knew that was a lie. I didn't believe it as you said it.
It hypothetically exists at the moment that there wasn't much traction from it. I don't know if there's going to be traction from it, which that's no surprise. For anyone that's listening, basically it was a summit of as many Texas bicycle race promoters that we could get together to hopefully try to coordinate a calendar and start getting people on the same page, communicating with each other and things like that.
Which on paper is a great idea.
I agree. And I say that from the participants, the racers' perspective. They need a hub where they can go to and say, hey, I want to train for this. And what else is on the way that can help me train for that? Or that's there. Maybe I want to plan to peak. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to start doing some gravel, or I want to try cyclocross or whatever else. A lot. It's not universal, but let's go in the 80-20. I'm a big fan of the 80-20 general breakdown on things. Generally speaking, there's a lot of fiefdomish behavior amongst racing promoters. They have this is my group. These are my regulars.
Yeah.
I don't need anybody else.
Yeah. It's a famine mentality.
But they get really pissy if any of their regulars goes, well, kind of like we were just talking about Lifetime, stay away from the other events sort of thing. I'm a rising tides raises all boats sort of guy.
Agreed.
If more people are coming across racing in competitive events that scratch their itch, and maybe that takes them to another, because I've had plenty of people that started out doing our stuff that, I'm just going to do a 30-mile ride with my friends because
Justin Carey.
it's what they're doing. Yeah. And they get in, it's like, this is cool. And they take it next level from there. We're still at probably 80% of the promoters didn't participate at all.
As far as showing up or?
Showing up, sending in their feedback, providing their event dates or anything like. It doesn't seem to have a whole lot of traction.
Yeah.
I had volunteered to actually set up the forum and calendar site for the group of promoters to communicate together and say, here's our whiteboard calendar. My events are here. Your events are there.
Yeah.
And here's a discussion board where, hey, if there's a conflict, we can talk through it. Or what do you have in mind?
Yeah.
It's not all going to solve itself overnight sort of thing, but here's an environment we can do that.
Well, is geography a consideration as well? If someone's putting on an event in Galveston and you're putting on an event.
We never got to that level of detail. So here's the deal. So we had the forum in Waco, but the reality is we could have had it in Argyle because pretty much the only people that showed up in person, except for one, maybe two, were all North Texas people.
Okay. So Farnsworth wasn't there? He
showed up late.
Yeah.
He did show up late, but haven't heard a word from him since, sort of thing. I don't know, because we whiteboarded the group that was there, some dates that everyone knew I know I'm going to do this, and other people knew they had other things. So we started whiteboarding some calendar dates, and one of my dates, Patrick spoke up from the side. I didn't speak up. I overheard him say something along the lines of he was planning to do something that day too, but it never got on the board. And we chatted in a circle for a few minutes, but he got there late, left early.
Yeah.
And so that was one of my first requests when we put the site together, because I saw the email list of who they were inviting, and Patrick wasn't on that list. And I said, be sure to invite Patrick, because I'd like to have this discussion with him so we can demonstrate how, hey, we can all work together and sort these things out. But
why Waco?
If I assume they thought that was going to be a somewhat central location, but if nobody from Austin or Houston shows up, then.
But was there a promoter that is based out of Waco that it served them, or?
I think there was somebody that had access. I think somebody maybe puts on one kids event or junior event and had access to the school where we met on a Sunday.
Okay.
So I think that, but I don't know. I was just along for the ride sort of thing. So I wasn't involved in any of the initial decision. I wasn't even, I canceled an event to make it because they really sent it out last minute. And so I've already got an event scheduled that week. And I thought about it, you know what, it might do well to meet up.
But main takeaway, disappointing and unorganized.
Main takeaway is so far it seems to have worked out the way I pretty much expected it to. I hope we can evolve it. I started building up the calendar based on the feedback that we had and stuff that I could find on my own with the idea the idea was we're going to build our whiteboard calendar, and then we'll get the individual event promoters to come to the site and confirm their details and make it, this is verified. I'm Joe Blow, road race promoter, and I have this event on June 15th.
Yeah.
And here's the link to it, and here's the official. And then we were going to put that on the public-facing calendar once it's verified and blah, blah, blah.
So that is the ultimate goal, is to have one hub, a calendar.
That's what the people that were there in that meeting agreed was a good direction to try to go to.
It makes sense if you can.
But
have
again, if 80% of the races don't show up and participate in that, then it does. And I've tried to do, a few years ago, I tried to do the same thing in a Facebook environment.
Yeah.
And I ran into exactly the same thing where I'd reach out to promoters and none of them wanted to communicate about it. So
I mean, in theory, it would be awesome for participants and promoters to have a calendar that I could just pull up on my computer and filter it, go by region, like maybe it's North Texas, West Texas, East Texas, South Texas, Central Texas.
Now it's going to be by discipline to begin with.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and discipline, whether it's road, mountain, endurance, gravel.
And I say right now, that's the format that we were trying to organize it in. And quite frankly,
How many different categories do you have?
Road, mountain bike, cyclocross, gravel.
Okay.
At the moment.
So there's no bike packing in there?
That
falls into gravel.
That would fall under gravel or mountain biking.
No. Okay.
Don't get me wrong, if there's great demand for it.
I was just curious. I'm not trying to create more category breakouts.
Again, if Patrick were to participate and say, hey, we need a bike packing category, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But if there's nobody. So the way I've turned it around, or thinking about turning it around, threatened to turn it around? It's not a threat. Actually, it's the core people. That's not even the whole group because even the people that were there on site, we couldn't get all of them to forward their specific event information to fill out the calendar properly.
Yeah, because they probably don't have all their venues locked down, contracts and stuff.
They didn't even want to take the time to do it. And
how can you be an organizer if you're not organized?
Again, we're back to the fiefdom mentality. Yeah. It's like
what is that word you're saying?
Fiefdom.
I'm not familiar with that.
Look it up.
Okay.
Well, like a kingdom, but smaller.
Okay. I've never heard that.
You've never heard of fiefdom?
I'm not well read like you.
Feifdom.
Feifdom.
Not E. FDOM.
FDOM.
But anyway, what I have suggested we do, and I'm hoping to get buy-in from the other pseudo organizers that did take things next level. It's like originally the idea was this is going to be the race directors forum and calendar where we whiteboard everything. And then once everything's agreed upon, then we'll publish that to a public facing calendar that all the racers could go to. And that was the initial plan. It's just a one-stop shop. You go here, and this is where you see all the Texas races that we know about at any given time.
And that's going to serve the organizers that are more organized better than the people that are lackluster performance participants.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
What I have suggested that we do, since this doesn't seem to be going anywhere and nobody has indicated that I'm wrong in that assumption, is look, I've already put in a lot of work to put together known event dates and what's going on there. Let's just open up this community site and calendar to the racers at this point, and we'll say, these are the dates that we know about. This is the information we know about. If you guys know more or we have something incorrect, reach out to your race promoter and tell them to come on here and tell us differently, sort of thing. And just start letting the racers access it and use the chat functionality and forum functionality that's broken down by the disciplines. And they can talk amongst themselves, and where it's not us driving and we weren't really trying to drive the boat. We were just trying to provide a hub. But it's just, and there's more USA cycling drama going on in Texas now that I'm not going to be a part of in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know the details of it.
Yeah.
But it's just, the reality, it's just more of the same of what I've been up against myself for 16 years now.
Yeah.
Even longer, even when I was doing stuff. Hell, even when we were doing red jumpsuit, it's 20 years now that we were up against all this bullshit.
Yeah. It seems because there's arguably less racing going on. The Timber Series is still a thing. Dorba Series, does Dorba really have a series anymore?
I think they're focusing on, and this was actually my suggestion to them several years ago. I think they're just focusing on not races per se. It's just challenges and events. So like this weekend they were supposed to do it last weekend, but it got rained out. They're doing the Trifecta Challenge or whatever they call it, Horseshoe, Knob Hills, and North Shore.
Yeah.
Thing.
I would like to do that.
So a mini Judgment Day sort of thing just around the lake.
Yeah.
That is something I suggested to them years ago.
Yeah. But you put on a similar event, but it's ride, not drive.
We used to. I'm not sending people up and down 377 no more.
Yeah. Allegedly, they're going to put a bike lane when they expand that in that region.
That's at least 5 years away.
No, I'm just saying it's hopeful thinking.
No, I mean it's at the very least 5 years away because that's not going to work until there's a new bridge there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or actually several new bridges, but
they've already began construction right there at that intersection, and they've at least moved all of the utilities back all the way from my part of town all the way to 1171.
Yeah, I've seen that.
In anticipation of that, I don't know when actual construction on the roadway is going to begin, but all the infrastructure stuff seems to be mostly completed.
North of 1171, they haven't started anything south of 1171.
That's what I just said. Like to 1171.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the stuff south is the
where the bridge is. That's
the big deal.
But I don't know if they're just trying to go for 100% completion to 1171 before they jump across 1171 and begin. But it seems to be the case.
And ultimately, what's that going to do to Knob Hills at that point?
I don't know. It's going to change up the parking lot scenario,
which may prevent it from ever happening. It could be because the rest of the land in from the parking lot.
I think you just make the other parking lot the main parking lot is probably a decent scenario.
The one we did our podcast on, that's up to the city of Flower Mound.
Yeah.
And Dorba lost its opportunity to be part of that decision making when that was put in. Mm-hmm. I was trail steward then, and I said, hey, Flower Mound wants to talk to us, and you get everybody on board, and let's make sure we have our pieces set. And they didn't care.
It wasn't future-proofed at that point because I don't think anybody realized that 377 was going to expand probably back then.
I think
it's always been in the pipeline, hypothetically, but
right. That was back then. Knob Hills was the redheaded stepchild of the Dorba trails.
Yeah, and it was still one way.
It was still an out and back.
Yeah,
and that was. Yeah, but now the population's exploded out this way, and they loop the trail, and it gets a ton of use.
Yeah, still a great trail. I don't ride that trail enough.
Weather Souls. At least, I mean, It's still one of the slowest to dry when it is wet out, and it stays underwater
Floods,
a lot.
especially Loop 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Local cycling. I feel like local cycling is what's always going to ebb and flow. You've got newcomers and you got people that step away, but it seems like our numbers stay fairly consistent as far as trail users.
You think? I think there's a lot more trail users than there used to be.
Yeah, but
Maybe not on Tuesday nights.
Yeah. Last night, we were the only 4 people in the parking lot. I don't know. Nika must have staged somewhere else last night because normally they stage out of Mad Shelter, and there wasn't. Literally, the 4 of us that rode were the only 4 vehicles in the parking lot, less one other guy that finished up right before we started. So,
Well, but it was cold too.
it wasn't that cold, but yeah.
Colder than traditional Texas weather, and first cold snap of the season sort of thing. Knocks.
It was good. It was good proofing weather for your cold weather gear, though. But trail was in amazing shape. Less a couple of spots that were arguably muddy, just very short stretches. But for the most part, it was absolute blue groove heat dirt. But I don't know. That trail has got to be one of the most trafficked trails in the DFW area. That and probably Boulder.
It seems like every time I'm still not able to ride single track really well, so I don't go out on the trails themselves, but I do go by almost every trailhead on a fairly regular basis on all my other explorations.
Yeah.
And
Mount Hills gets a ton of traffic.
Not that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They all get, the trail usage is definitely much higher than it was 10 years ago. The crazy one is Sansom. That gets so much trail usage now, not from bike riders, but from hikers and people fishing.
Yeah. I randomly had a video show up on my YouTube feed, some chick hiking Sansom.
I stopped doing events out there because there's just way too much overlap.
Yeah.
So there's no way to make it work anymore. And that's part of why I stopped doing mountain bike events. The main one
you can't close a trail.
No, you can't close a trail.
Yeah.
And the main one being it's literally a 50-50 shot of whether the event's going to go off or not, just based on weather and trail conditions. But there's no way to minimize overlap on any of the trails anymore.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the point that most of the cities, municipalities, Corps of Engineers, most of the time, we don't know if we want you doing that out there right now. There's too many other.
But McAfee seems to be doing okay with it, though.
I mean, his short track format helps with that, where he's limiting the exposure and the overlap, and it's very specific that we're here at
just this portion of the trail.
Yeah. So when he does the short track stuff, don't get me wrong, McAfee's got much more tolerance and patience in dealing with the bureaucracies than I ever did.
Yeah.
It's like
it's a chess game for him.
It is. Yeah. Very much. And he's done very well with it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily take a no as okay, that's the end. It's like, I've always, what if we did this, or what alternates could we look at? Yeah. And if it's just, I'm just butting my head up against the wall, okay, that's enough of that. I'll go somewhere else and do something else.
How much of a logistical nightmare is it for him to put on Rudolph's Revenge?
He's got that down to a system.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he needs to do, with whom, by what date.
Yeah.
He's got the established relationships. He's credible on everything he does. So he got that down to a science.
How hard was it for him to integrate the horse trail in there, though? Is that a rogue thing, or is that something that?
No, I don't. It's always been a multi-use trail.
Sure.
So I don't think that was.
But the horse community is somewhat territorial, to say the least.
Oh, true save.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bitch about equestrians all the time. I don't have anything against horses. I don't have anything against people who ride horses, but the equestrian Karen situation is real.
Yeah, the squeaky wheel is the worst.
And the squeaky wealthy wheel is the worst.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, you're not in the equestrian community if you're participating with SNAP benefits or anything like that.
But to be fair, I've ridden maybe a couple of trails that I wasn't supposed to be on, and I've only ever encountered one Karen that I can remember, and she wasn't even on horseback. No, 2, sorry. Neither one of them were on horseback. And they've both been post-COVID where the Karens have picked up the megaphone and acted so entitled. But I've encountered numerous people on horses, and every interaction I've had has been more than polite. But I often find
I was with you on one that was less than polite, but okay, if you say so.
Oh, let me finish and remind me of that because I don't remember. But I rode horses for years as a child, and I understand that you have to respect the temperament of the horse and the safety of the rider. And especially in my smarter elder years, I've started to treat all those interactions a lot more respectfully from that aspect. And so my first thought is I address the rider, I dismount my bike so the horse recognizes me as a person. I don't roll my bike with my hub ratcheting.
Rattlesnaking.
Yeah, like those little things. And I think an astute horseback rider picks up on that mutual respect.
Sure.
And so it's one of those things, you get back what you put out. If you're a cyclist that's only worried about Strava and you're irritated because someone's in the way and you're trying to buzz by a horse or strong arm somebody, hog the trail or something like that, it's never going to be a good interaction, whether it's a hiker or another biker or whatever. But I think that as a community, we should strive for those polite interactions and really embrace more of a multi-trail use aspect, other than the fact that horses just tear up trails. And I've never understood, if you're walking your dog on the trail and your dog takes a shit, you're supposed to pick up said shit. But a horse, they could just shit wherever, and the horseback rider has no obligation to even look at it, much less address it, kick it off the trail or anything like that. That's always boggled my mind. So remind me of the interaction we had that you were talking about. Yeah,
I will. Let me touch on a couple things real quick. I agree completely, and I have horse experience as well.
Yeah.
So I know how to behave around a horse.
Yeah.
And I agree. When you act appropriately around people on horseback, they appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it does take the tension level down.
100%. Yeah.
There's no doubt. I don't disagree with that aspect of it at all. That said, we are in the realm where I'm even going to say most, I'm not going to say it's 80%, but I am going to say most of the mountain bike riders out there, particularly newer riders in the past 10 years, have zero trail etiquette at all to begin with, let alone around horses.
That's fair.
They don't have trail etiquette with people.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking other bike riders. I'm talking about hikers, kids on the trail, and everything like that. So I would be on the side of the equestrian folks where I don't want mountain bikes on this trail because the vast majority of people that are riding mountain bikes have no idea how to behave around.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that just comes with experience and or mentorship.
There is no mentorship.
I'm just saying.
The mentorship is they're the ones that should be yielding to us, and they're the ones that are the pain in the ass. And it's not just Strava, the Enduro Bras, it is the e-bike guys. Yeah. It is the former trail stewards around that have that attitude.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I think respect begets respect, and we should all extend
I'm
respect.
Extremely respectful.
Yeah.
I almost never have any negative interactions with anyone.
Yeah.
Now, that said, going back to our shared experience that I'm referring to, it was quite some time ago. I don't know exactly. It was in the early days of Spinistry. I think Chaos was still here. I think Chaos was on the trip. I don't remember for certain. I know Brian from Bonsai was there. And we went on a ramble-ish type ride where I'm just assuming you were the one leading the pack, but maybe not. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus by any stretch of the imagination. But we ended up on the horse trails and coming out at Old Alton Bridge, and we ran into some folks. I think one was on a mule. I think Shannon was there even. One was on a mule, one was on, and those people were okay. They weren't happy with us being there, but we showed that we knew how to act around.
Was Adam there too?
Possibly.
Was that when he said nice ass?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember that specifically.
Okay.
like I said, I know Brian was there and I was there, you were there, and I know there were other people. And Brian and I were both in the same boat. We're like, we can't get busted out here. That we have businesses that are related to this. We can't do this. And so
how did the interaction go across?
The interaction with the people, the one on the mule and the one on the horse, was okay. They weren't happy with us being out there.
Yeah.
It tapered since we were acting appropriately around horses, but they reminded us that we weren't supposed to be there. But then when we got out to Old Alton Bridge, there was I guess it was a horse gathering that day. It wasn't just the normal, it was a club meeting or something, who knows. And those people just went off, and they were taking pictures and video, and one of them was calling 911 as we were rolling through the parking lot and all that.
I don't remember that at all. And since then, I've put in hundreds of miles on those trails. But I also, if I go through that parking lot and there's horse trailers, I'll avoid it.
And maybe that was the intent that point too, but I think Brian and I were both like, we got to get off this trail now. And I think that was the fastest way out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I've also found that horse traffic is waning, especially on those trails, especially on the Old Alton Bridge side. There's the trail that goes up towards Highland Village, and there's the trail that goes out towards Lake Louisville. That trail, ever since that sandbag dam collapsed years ago, horses just don't go that direction anymore, which is arguably nice because it's just foot traffic, and the foot traffic dies off at that point too, because most people walk to that point and they don't feel like going across that creek.
I think I could be wrong. I think there's fewer horse people around anymore. All of the affordable equestrian facilities and lots that used to be out this way in general, they're not affordable anymore.
Not that it's affordable anymore.
Yeah, it's always taken a certain level of wealth to be a horse person.
Yeah.
Now you have to take it to that next level to afford to be a horse person and live anywhere near here anymore.
Yeah, and just like Jeter Road, Jeter Box, like all of those horse estates are self-contained almost.
Yep.
And there's tons of them over there in that way. And then Saddlebrook also, like, they have their own stable there. And I don't know if you've paid attention when you've gone through that neighborhood, but that neighborhood was constructed to where it has an unobstructed pathway through the entirety of the neighborhood that was for horses, but nobody uses it. Like, all the fences have a causeway, if you will, or a right-of-way where the fences don't meet. There's a gap between the fences behind the property, and it's all interconnected. So they, at least on paper, we're going to have their own self-contained trail within the neighborhood. But I mean, it doesn't look like it ever gets used. So
yeah, and that's we're back to there's fewer and fewer actual horse people around.
100%
is what it will.
I see the most horse activity nowadays at Isle du Bois, and it seems like most of the, at least outdoorsy horseback people are in that area, have pushed out that direction, because up until recently, the land was more affordable out that way.
Right.
And I ride that trail too, but that's not a horse only trail. That's a multi-use trail.
That is a multi-use trail. My understanding was that the state park people were encouraging other users to use it to reinforce to the horse people that this is a multi, because the horse people were trying to stake a claim to it.
That trail will,
but it turns to absolute sand when it dries out.
Yeah,
it's a big old sand pit end to end almost.
Yeah, but it's one of the faster drying trails.
I don't disagree. That's the best one to go to 2 days after a rain is that horse trail up there.
And now there's the
multi-use trail.
Now there's a marina almost at the end of it.
It's been there a while.
The end. Where they have the store at the end of the dock and all that. Because now that is the only marina on that lake, because the other one got destroyed in that tornado. And so they built a store that's at the end of the
store
marina.
didn't used to be there, but the marina was there.
Yeah, but...
And it used to be the trail didn't go all the way to there. It stopped at the paved road. So now the trail goes all the way to the marina.
I forgot what the name of that place is. So it used to just be the one building. It used to be Ellerby or something like that. Now it's changed names and they put more buildings there. And then the marina is like right down from that. And you go all the way through the dock and the store is actually floating out.
Gotcha.
But they're down season right now. We hit it on the last weekend and they were very low on stock and we're not restocking. But it's going to be cool. I think this was their first year having that store.
Okay. Yeah, but I said, did you hear that on going back to the tornado, a few months ago, they came out with the finals reports on it all. That thing was a 2-mile wide tornado all the way through there.
That's insane. When you and I did that ride, were we riding to Johnson Branch or Isle de Bois?
We ended up doing Johnson Branch. We were supposed to do Isle de Bois, and they shut us down because the sewer system was out.
That's right. Their septic was out. But we rode past that.
We rode past some of it.
Off of, is it Lone Oak?
I think, yeah.
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 And saw all that destruction that just went diagonal through there, all those trees that were down and the storage buildings and everything. And that was the first time I had seen anything besides just the store that was there at 20 and Lone Oak.
The Shell station.
Yeah. Like just humbling how intense that was and how many people were impacted. That was crazy. It was just the path of destruction.
Yeah, and it goes all through that corridor. So when we do our events out of Valley View, it's all the way to Forestburg.
Yeah.
And that's what had me confused for a couple of years. It's because there's huge damage paths that you see.
Yeah.
But in a way, it almost looks sporadic when you're doing my routes and weaving in and out. Man, I am well north of that. Now I'm seeing it south. Was this thing just zigzag? No, it wasn't zigzag. It was 2 miles wide going all the way through.
It looks like it literally started at the interstate, though. No. It's west of that.
Oh, my God. It's almost to Forestburg. And, I mean, that whole, what creek is it? Is it Clear Creek? No, it's not Clear Creek. Anyway, it's the valley section that we usually run out of Texas Chainring Massacre that goes up towards Roxton. That whole valley, it looks like it was following the creek the whole way. You can see where it just knocked shit down everywhere. And it's almost continuous from Roxton, and you can see some of it starting in Forestburg, but from Roxton all the way to, was it Pilot Point that it came out?
Yeah.
It's just continuous. And it's crazy that there weren't more people that were killed by it.
Yeah. Speaking of Forestburg, Ponderosa is no more.
Yeah, you told me that last time, but you said the new owner might be interested in doing more of the same.
I haven't. I have no way of getting in contact with them, or I haven't made an attempt.
Understood.
And she's gone. Like, sold everything, moved.
She's on to the next chapter.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if anything develops from that. But sad that chapter's done. But
understood.
Stuff happens.
Ooh, that reminds me. Maybe save a date or pencil it for me. If you can't make it work, I understand. But I may have a kitchen for you verify my dates on this one.
Yeah, what does January, February, March look like for Spinistry events? I know you said the 24th.
24th is Texas Chainring Massacre. And I think it's February 21st is my next date after that.
And I have in my calendar January 28th is Pearlie's birthday.
No.
Is that not right?
That is not right.
Well, then why does it say that?
I don't know.
I have Jan McNeil Lee's birthday on January 28th.
No, it's December 28th. Mine's December 27th.
Maybe that is December? Oh, that is December.
Okay.
I'm stupid. But you can see where I'm confused. Look, I know this says December, but watch when I pull down.
Oh,
look, it says January 2026 right there.
I get it.
Okay.
You and your Apple shit.
Whatever. You're sitting here with an Apple computer?
That's what's here. They work better for video editing. I will give them that.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that. Now you got me all confused, though.
It doesn't take much.
It doesn't. Actually, Facebook has me confused. I'm pretty sure it's February 21st. Anyway, Spuro.
May be busy.
Okay.
There's a potential bike trip that weekend.
Okay. I understand. Never mind.
An electronic bike trip.
My calendar's up there. I'll just leave it at that. My calendar's up there through May.
Where is your calendar? Where can someone go and?
You can go to Facebook's ministry page and look at the events.
But there's not an actual calendar, is there?
You can click on events. It'll show all my events in the calendar. You can go to spinistry.net or spinistry.com or spinistry.org and click on calendar.
Okay.
And it will show all my events. I'm trying to think, it's probably somewhere else. More than likely, you get emails on a regular basis that say when my events are.
Yeah.
But I know you don't open those.
Yeah. I like tuba trails on here. Events.
Yeah, there you go. So what? Yeah, go to February, verify my date.
21st. Butterfield Buster.
Butterfield Buster out of Whitesboro.
And what's the 100-miler, 75-miler, untimed 75, 50, or 35? Okay.
There you go.
Cross state lines, bust some gravel. Okay.
Yep. I think we'll have a kitchen for that one. But if you're busy, I get it. I'll find somebody else to cook.
I could possibly not be busy. I don't know. I haven't even submitted for a kitchen pass yet.
Understood.
For that.
I'm letting you know that's probably, I got to send in the paperwork for the kitchen reservation today on that one.
Okay.
I just found out there was a kitchen available. So I'm probably going to take them up on that.
Chisholm, Gravel, Roundup, North Texas, Great River, Riot, Hero, Flagler. Okay. Obviously, there's going to be more events too that just haven't been populated into here.
One formal event per month is the plan.
Yeah.
And that's what you see there. And then we'll have our helicopter flyover. We'll have our tuba trail, exploration, club rides, and events that are mixed in along the way. We'll have pop-up rides when calendar and weather permit. Anyone that's listening, I get these messages all the time, regularly. I won't say all the time. Pop-up rides are pop-up rides when weather and schedule permit. It's not a pop-up if we schedule it 6 months in advance. So when are you going to have some more pop-up rides? I was going to have one last weekend, but the weather didn't allow for it.
When they pop up.
Exactly. They come about when they do, and we'll probably do some weeknight stuff as well once I can figure out a good system.
Weather looks good this week. We're in a little bit of a warm. It looks like
We've got an event Sunday.
the highs are going to be in the 60s almost every day this week. And then it looks like we have a cool down early next week or something. Last I looked and best I remember. But that's all I know.
Is that all you know? Where are we at on this one?
Excuse me.
Hour 32. That's about normal time, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's up the production value one more time here and sign off properly.
Oh, I guess Caleb's not going to make it.
It doesn't look like Caleb is going to make it today. All right. Up the volume here.
Knucklehead.
Are we ever going to see him again?
No. Missed that guy.
See, does this work? Why aren't you working? All right. Good enough.